Wyatt Hill. Grant or Lowell, is it possible now with Elijah Mitchell and Debo back, the Niners use a run-heavy ball control offense to keep quarterbacks off the field? They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah. And again, I think they're going to really run on Seattle. And the minute you can do that, everything else opens up. If a defense can't stop the run, they're screwed. Then you can pass on them too.
Pretty much.
That's what I think will happen.
That's what happened the first two games. What happened the first two games was, I think, Seattle sold out to stop the run, didn't stop the run or pass. So not a great spot for them to be in.
Right.
Elijah Mitchell, he's coming back. Also, Jordan Mason, he averaged 6 yards a carry this year. The Niners have like 4 or 5 guys they can give the ball to. Sorry, Lowell, I had a terrible cough for 4 weeks.
Yeah, I got it for 3 weeks now. Thank you. This is unbelievable.
Yeah. Mo Z says no Jordan Brooks for Seattle is a big loss. That's their best linebacker.
I see.
Big loss. Aaron Thornhill says, I was at the Seattle Ravens game. Both these teams are trash, and I was soaked. It was hard to comprehend that Geno set their franchise yards record. He got no sauce. Yeah, it's hard to take a team that really struggled against the Rams seriously. Like, the Rams?
Yeah.
Freaking Rams. Rams suck. Asia Lee says, mark my words, the Niners will utterly destroy Seattle this Saturday.
Well, I think so.
Okay. All right. Todd, they utterly destroyed them the first time, and I think it really wasn't that close. It was 21-13, but I think it could have been easily worse than that. How much money will BP make per playoff game? Will his salary be a topic for the league if he wins the Super Bowl? That is interesting, yeah. He should get some bonuses, right? You would think he should get something.
You would think the team would be generous.
You would think so. Like, you can't just give him $900,000. Hey, thanks a lot for the Super Bowl. Really good. Keep grinding, bud. Keep your head down.
Yeah,
he might be someone. Yeah, I would think so. Kaleki Carroll says, best show in town. My favorite takes on the Niners. Thank you. Never too high when we win or low when we lose. Pure analysis, one step ahead of the other beat writers.
Ooh, thank you.
Ooh,
I
thank
love
you.
that. Iggy praised you.
That was nice. Saul Goodman says Seattle is a tougher matchup than Green Bay because they're not supposed to be here, and everybody predicts they'll get embarrassed by the Niners. Big chip on shoulder. And a coaching edge, which always helps. Alec Flores says, thoughts on Debo and Purdy's connection based on what you've seen at practice. Kittle seems sold on Purdy after Cardinals game going into the playoffs. I don't get to watch those parts of practice, and Debo hasn't been around very much for him to develop a connection with Purdy, but Ayuk has, and Kittle has, and McCaffrey has. Zach says, does rain excuse the Niners from the backlash of an L? Oh, no. Dad, if the Niners lose to Seattle, can you imagine what the commentary would be afterward? They lost in the first round of the playoffs, the Niners.
It would be.
It wouldn't be. Oh my God, the knives would come out quick. It wouldn't be like, oh, good regular season though.
No.
It'd
be a flop.
Oh my goodness. But it's not going to happen. Most
No.
likely. Greg says,
not gonna happen.
It's not going to happen. Lowell, feel better, guys. I got a feeling. Woohoo! You got a feeling?
Too.
Eddie Marcos 916 says the rain is a blessing in disguise. Takes the pressure off Brock, Mitchell, Debo, CMC, Mason. Good luck, Seattle. Yeah, if the rain makes it a running game, then advantage Niners.
I agree.
Check box for Brock. First team face him twice. That's interesting. Yeah, this is the first team that's going to get a second look at him. Norman, thank you, Norman Sullivan. $10. Keith Murphy went to the Super Bowl a year after the Rams in 2019. Now time to win a year later. Sure. If you believe in that sort of timeline kind of stuff. DS Review says it took overtime for Seattle to earn a trip to SF. The biggest mistake they ever made and a costly lesson for the Hawks on Saturday. Not worried about them. Okay. He's not worried about him. Tanyan says Kyle has second best odds to win Coach of the Year. To what extent would you consider that award greatness if he potentially wins it?
Has to win a Super Bowl.
Has to win a Super Bowl. I know coaches who have won the Super Bowl. I couldn't tell you who the coaches of the year were, the last 4. I don't know. Carol T, thank you. Keith Murphy, Cincinnati can challenge them as well. They beat Kansas City and looked very good before Hamlin incident against Buffalo.
I agree.
Cincinnati. Yep.
I agree.
Keith Murphy, I'd go Dayball from New York Giants Coach of the Year. Him, Pete Carroll. Big question, will Kyle keep his foot on the gas in the fourth quarter? Ask Carroll.
Well, that's the whole issue.
Yeah. Maybe in the first round of the playoffs. Kaliki Carroll says, Lowell, Brock Purdy, small sample sizes. It's safe to say he's showing some of that Joe Cool it factor. Poise, collected under pressure. Moments never too big. Not saying he's there, but are we seeing flashes?
I totally think he is.
Yes. I didn't live through it, but I do feel like Joe made that reputation a lot in the playoffs too. So we got to see if Brock can keep this going. Because Jimmy couldn't. Jimmy had great stretches in the regular season, to his credit. He couldn't do it in the postseason. Let's see if Brock can. Tantara says, will we ever see a Mitchell CMC same backfield? I think so. I think Kyle will get creative. He's got time. Philip Wilson says, with Brock Purdy, the Niners offense can go blow for blow with teams that have high-powered offenses. Jimmy couldn't do that.
Agree.
Wholeheartedly. Nancy says, Niner fan since Montana, although I think Young was better, but enough said. So glad my kids are finally getting to watch a great Niner team play. Adore you and your dad's relationship. Listen every week. Thank you.
Thank you for that compliment.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Goat No Answer says, we can't overlook anyone in the playoffs. In 1987, we were 13-2 and lost in the first round at home with Montana. Wow. Good to know. I was not alive. 49ers Cade says, best defense, excellent, poised rookie quarterback, top 3 running back with the best depth, top 2 tight end, top 10, 15 wide receivers, Hall of Fame left tackle. There's no excuse not to get it done this year. When you put it that way, yeah, there's really no excuse for the Niners.
Well, I feel that way too.
Lowell equals father of the year. Hell
That's
yeah.
very sweet of you.
He's a great dad, if you haven't noticed. Philip Wilson, Kyle's comment means Jimmy is cream puff, or that Jimmy's like me and likes praise. I like praise too. Maybe I'm a cream puff.
You're doing a good job, sweetie.
Thanks, Dad. I was waiting for that. I was just giving a little pause. Elite Archer says, what evidence do we have that Kyle can win a Super Bowl? His last name does not make him the coach his father was.
Well, we have to see. We have to see.
He's got another shot this year. Jorge Luis Sotelo says, happy birthday, Grant. Thanks. It's on Friday. My wife's birthday is on 1/12. She thinks you're too harsh on Jimmy G, but then again, she has a crush on him. You should probably talk about that with her. Sorry. I saw Jimmy G in the locker room today. He was there, and I saw him. That's my story. David,
can he walk, Iggy? Can he walk?
I think he can, but he still has that little knee scooter and doesn't. But he was standing. I saw him standing.
Okay.
Trey Lance came through, too. He's also on a knee scooter. Both of the 49ers quarterbacks have a messed up foot.
I wonder if they got a group rate on knee scooters.
Aha! David, thank you very much. Alec, I feel like Brian Greasy must be a vital buffer. Interesting. I see what you mean.
Do you know him? Do you know what he does? I don't know what he's like.
I don't know what he's like. Jorge says, Mr. Lowell, which one of the Super Bowl winning Niner teams you covered was the most special and why?
Oh, I would have to say the first one. It was such a surprise.
Yeah.
And
Tanyan
says,
says,
great.
And it had the catch that year. Tanyan says Lowell is the current odds-on favorite for the coveted Father of the Year award at -2,000. This award also includes the postseason, thankfully.
Thank you.
I'm betting on my dad. You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work, fellas, says Raul Corrales.
Thank you.
A couple more. Mason Wright. Pete Carroll just said, unfortunately, we're playing the Niners. Yeah, he's buttering them up. He's buttering them up. Unfortunately, we're playing the Niners. Yeah, of course.
That's interesting.
No more QB design runs for Purdy, please, says Super Duper One. Yeah, those quarterback sneaks, no, not going to work. Norman Sullivan, I watch all your content. This is my favorite show. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Norman.
Thank you.
Josh Wyatt, how much better would the Niners' chances be if they used that Jimmy money on their secondary last offseason? Trey and Brock would be a cheap as Philly who got to add Chauncey Gardner Johnson to a stacked defense. I have thought of that before. It would be interesting if the Niners really had conviction that Brock was this good and they just went with it. But Jimmy was here and he won some games. I mean, you got to give Jimmy credit. He did his job for 2 months.
He was important.
He did his job. Tony says the only way we lose is if Kyle Shanahan has a brain fart calling plays. Kyle needs a hug. Maybe then he'll start to praise the players. No more post-game speeches, Kyle. A hug. I can't do that. I can do a lot as quality control, but I can't just walk over to him and hug him. That, I think they would take away my credential. My name is pronounced Dundale. Mohawk name. Oh, did I get that right? Dundale? Okay. Well, thank you, Dundale. Sorry I got it wrong. Alpha Papa says Grant Sweetie Cohn.
Yeah, I call him Sweetie. I used to call him sometimes Sweetie in the press box, and he would get pissed. Dad, don't call me Sweetie. And I didn't mean to, but he's my son. I've been calling him Sweetie his whole life. And then Mike Schumann, he's so cute. He heard me saying it. And Mike Schumann from ABC, he's retired like me, only calls Grant Sweetie. He says, hi, Sweetie, how you doing?
Wasn't that like 10 years ago? I think I was still in college, and you were on the phone on the road, and you were calling me Sweetie, and he was like, Lowell, do you have a girlfriend? Like, no, it's my son. It's like, oh, okay. Calvin Hobbs says, Purdy says he doesn't want praise for praise sake. He wants constructive criticism to get better. Him and Kyle are a perfect match. Wins are what matters for fans. We don't need to overthink it.
Whatever.
Okay. I like to overthink it. G-Code Travels Vlog says, question for Tito Cohn. Uncle, how does Greg Papa feel about 49ers beating the Raiders? Was it a big relief considering that what the Raiders did to Papa? I don't know.
I'm not in touch. Greg and I were friendly when I used to be on TV with him, but I haven't talked to Greg in probably 5 or 6 years. So I'm not capable of answering that.
Yeah. Hold on. Dundale says, got it that time, Grant. Thank you. Niawin Koa. Appreciate you. All right. Joseph says, just ordered gloves off. Can't wait for the read. Ooh, good choice. It's really good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joseph. How different will this team be next year? Who stays and who goes?
That's an Iggy question.
Let's wait a little bit, but let's stay in the moment. I don't want to go there yet. I don't know. I know we just went on their schedule and stuff, but I don't know yet. I guess Jimmy Ward would be one. He might come back. He might not. King Q says, Grant, can we get a segment about your win-loss picks from the beginning of the season? No shade. Love your content and Papa Cohn feel better. Sure.
Thank you.
I could do that. I'll do that absolutely. Yes. Kaliki Carroll says, Grant, Salah left. D'Amico came in and filled that counterbalance positive energy to Kyle. Who's that guy when Salah leaves? Ray a cheap Debo. Yes, in the second part. I don't know that they have that guy on the team right now. It's a good question. But Kyle is good at finding that guy, the positive counterbalance to his negative.
He has a great coaching staff.
He does.
That's one of the best things about him.
Yeah, he'll figure it out. King Q, thank you. City Burt, what's your Monday morning headline for Niners Hawks? Sunday morning headline. What do you think, Dad?
49ers advance. 49ers advance.
49ers advance. There you go. Scotty Dippin says, Kyle Shanahan is deficient in the areas that embody great coaches. He has the makeup of a great OC. A chip won't catapult him to greatness, but winning is a deodorant. Oh, okay, Scotty. Hero Winchester says, I really admire your guys' father-son relationship. Has there ever been a time you guys didn't see eye to eye or had to give tough love?
No. I can honestly say Iggy has such a gentle, he has a very gentle, loving personality. And I don't even think I ever yelled at him. Oh, the one time when you didn't call and I didn't know where you were. And I said, pick up a fucking phone. Remember that? You with Patrick?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you never let me live it down. No, Iggy was a very easy. What happened was he's 12 years younger than his older brother, and Iggy's cagey. Brian was a little more confrontational. So Iggy figured out all the ways Brian would get into trouble and didn't do them.
Yeah. And yeah, so we never like had a falling out or like a year or two where we didn't talk. Like, no. I went away to school and we ended up becoming even closer. Right? We started doing the blog together, and that's how I think that was probably why I started getting into sports journalism. It was just a way to keep the relationship going, pretty much.
You know, one time Iggy was home for spring break, and he was going to go back to Westwood, UCLA, on a Friday. And we have a back deck. It was nice. I was drinking coffee in the morning, and he came out and he said, so-and-so's here to pick me up. It was a Thursday. He said, I'm going to go home a day early. And I said, okay. I mean, I'm going to go back to school a day early. It's okay. And he left. And my wife came out a few minutes later, and she said, you're crying. And I was crying because he left a day early. How's that?
Pete says, do you guys see any upsets this wild card weekend? Okay, let's go through it. Seahawks, Niners, no upset there.
No.
Chargers, Jaguars. Jaguars could win that. Dolphins, Bills.
No way.
No. Giants, Vikings.
Possible.
Ravens, Bengals. How about Buccaneers over the Cowboys?
Possible.
That could happen. That could be one right there. Good question. Yeah. G-Code, Rock and Roll and Football Hall of Fame in Cleveland, great city.
Yes.
Black Orchid, because it's good to see your dad without such a cough. It is. Thank you, Black Orchid. Kaliki Carroll says, Grant, Salah left. We got you. Got you already. Sorry. King Q, Papa Cohn, where did the name Iggy come from?
You tell him, Iggy.
Well, my brother's 12 years older than me. So, picture me, an infant, maybe 1 year old, acquiring language, but I don't have it yet. So I'm making sounds. And apparently one sound I was making a lot was Igaloo. And my brother, he's 13, very clever guy, starts calling me Iggy. That's my nickname. And my parents think, aha, if we make that his official nickname, they'll be closer and the age gap won't be a big deal. But once they made it the official nickname, of course, that's not cool anymore. And the 13-year-old older brother that I had never called me that ever again. That being said, we're very close. But everyone that I've ever known that knew me before college calls me Iggy.
In fact, at his wedding, the young lady who performed the service married him not as Grant but as Iggy.
Yeah. Beck McKay says, have either of you been to Toronto?
Oh, I have a dear friend in Toronto. Toronto's a wonderful city. I actually was there last summer.
Yeah. Asia Lee says, Father Cohn, did you see the documentary about Joe Montana on Peacock? If so, what did you think about how Seifert treated Joe? Did he make a mistake not allowing Joe to compete for the starting job?
Okay. I never saw it. Did Seifert make a mistake? I think probably. I don't know what, George never discussed it with me. I don't know why he was so adamant about that. And I know that Joe has never forgiven him. It has never gotten over that.
Nassim says, Grant, my birthday is on January 12th. I'm turning 25. Wishing you a happy birthday and just want to say absolutely love listening to you and your dad. Happy birthday, Nassim. Thank you. Jorge Luis, I praise loudly, I blame softly. Catherine the Great.
Okay.
All right. How about that? Jan Evander says, DTR or Stetson Bennett? I don't know who Stetson Bennett is. I don't watch college football, but I do know who DTR is because I watch UCLA football and I like him a lot. So him. Mike Mosley, love you guys. You both tell it like it is, and I love that. I love all the history about you guys and the history your dad brings. Sorry couldn't pay more, but I'm unemployed. Anyways, love you guys. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you so much.
So generous of you. Thank you very much. That's it. That's the whole show. I thought it was a good one. What'd you think?
I loved it, and I'm glad. I'm coughing a little. I'm getting tired, but I was able to do it, so I'm glad.
Went. All right. Well, thank you for watching, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dad. I love you.
I love you, Grant.
I love you, too. I'll call you in a minute.
Okay.
All right. See you guys. Oh, hold on. At the buzzer, Delvin says, I hope you can block my super chat. I don't want Seahawks seeing it. They're going to do everything in their power to stop CMC, EM 3 TDs and over 300 on the ground. Okay. The show's over. Sean McGee says, are Montana and Young cordial with each other? Love you guys.
They're polite with each other. I don't think they're cordial.